Right. My name is Samson Risoro. I was born in Mashingo in Bikita district, and I was not born in a hospital I was born with the help of midwives called Nyamkuta, and the lad was called Mbuya Wabarai. So yeah. So my mother's name was Elizabeth, and my father's name was Samson Risoro, and my mother was Elizabeth Kambakwe. So my father come from a rural district called Msukutwa in Bikita. So I was born, and then as soon as I was born, my mother get sick for a couple of years, and then later on passed away. So me and my brother had to move from our father's place to our grandmother's place. That was my mother's side. So we grew up in a place called Ged Maranganyika under the care of my grandmother and then my mother's siblings. So I did my primary education at Nebarwe Primary School, that is in Bikita. So it was very nice. I was young and I didn't know what was going on. So life back then was actually very good. So I could go to school with no shoes. I didn't mind. I could walk inside the toilet with bare feet. It was not a big issue for me. Life was actually good. So I did my primary education, and then I had 5 points. And then I remember I visited my mother's sister in a place called Negoano. During the holidays after grade 7, we've got a much longer holiday between that. So I went to Negoano, I spent the holidays. I didn't know if I was going to carry on with the secondary school or no. So I was staying in Negoano for that. So during that time, I remember my mother's sister was trying to get a job for me for this other businessman called Dio, so that I can operate the grind mill. So from out of nowhere, my mother's brother called Evaristo Kambakwe called and then said Samson is supposed to come and then he has to go to school. So I had to come from Negoano back to Ged Maranganyika. And then I think it was about 2 or 3 weeks already in the first term Form 1. Then I joined the secondary school because I did pass. So they allowed me to start with the rest of the Form 1s. So this is how I did my secondary school, Form 1, Form 2, Form 3, Form 4. Life was difficult. So I was staying at my mother's brother's place throughout my secondary school. And then I worked very hard. And then I thank God I passed as well. I passed with 8 B's and a D. So, yeah. So, after secondary school, I had to go to Harare for the first time in an urban area. It was a lot of excitement. I remember my first time to go to an urban place. We went to Harare via Mozambique. So I was proud of myself that before getting to Harare, I went through Mozambique. So yeah, it was a lot of excitement. And I remember my uncle used to drive 323 Mazda, and we used to play Simon Chimbetu songs in that car. So the album Lullaby. So we went to Mozambique and then we ate beef meat. Oh, this time I couldn't eat beef meat, but because of the excitement, I ate beef meat in Mozambique. And then I started having stomach problems. That was in Mozambique. So my uncle had to rush me from Mozambique to Harare. Getting to Harare, it was a lot of excitement. It was back then, I think that was 2001, 2002. So, yeah. And my cousin used to take me around to see how town operates. And then, seeing a supermarket was such a big achievement for me. And then I remember at one point my cousin Pardon Gambakwe took me to 5th Avenue and then he ordered a cappuccino for me. That was the best day of my life. Yeah, it was amazing. It was amazing. So, yeah. We waited for the result and then the result came and then I had to go to A level. So we looked for places all over and then it was all full. And then I had to resort to go to a private college in town. So I went to AEC next to the State House in Harare. So finally I got the place there at AEC. I did my Form 5, Form 6. Honestly speaking, I was reading hard. I was trying to make sure that I passed my A level. So before finishing, I went to Lord Marvin, and then that's where I did write my exams for advanced level studies. So yeah, I write mathematics, principle of accounting, and management of business. I did my best to, but during that time things were getting tougher in Zimbabwe, so we couldn't get enough resources. But I remember one book that I was having for management of business, so I made sure that everything in that book I could understand it. So God bless me, I passed management of business. Unfortunately, mathematics and principal account, I didn't do very well. So, yeah, after A level, so this is where my story begins, and I hope I'm going to inspire one or two people who are going to watch this series. So, yeah, after my advanced level studies, I looked for a job. And this is the craziest thing that ever happened in my life. So as I was looking for my job, my uncle used to tell me he couldn't find anyone a job. But what he could do, he could take you to his company and then you work. When you work for your money, then he will leave you to decide what you're going to do with the money. So I remember he took me as well before I get another job. He took me to his company and then we worked. We could lift, he was working for BMA Fastness under StillNet. So we could lift boxes of nails and bolts and nuts. So it was funny because you could go around with the truck And then I used to remember he was working with the guys like Vengai Gambakwe, Ganda. So Ganda was the fastest driver. Yeah, so it was funny. We could go around. This is how I end up knowing Harare. So it was fun. So, yeah. So for today, I'm going to leave it here. And then we are going to do, later on tonight, I'm going to do a small recap from what I've said from the beginning up to now. I will try to summarize everything in a motivational way, whereby someone can understand what does someone's background mean in life. Thank you. Please like and share uh, this video.